Hey guys, today is Tuesday, June 6th, 2017. 4 days before my birthday. I don't know if you guys know, but my birthday is on June 10th, so that's exciting. But anyway, I'm here to talk about. I think I've made a mistake. I think I'm kind of like dipping my feet a little. Oh, I'm doing too much, and I have no idea how to manage it. But it's also really exciting. So I've started looking for people for another podcast. So this is what's going on so far. Right now I have the Lola podcast, right? And then after the Lola podcast, I have the Weldon Green podcast. Third, I have the Champion Overdrive podcast. Fourth, I guess this doesn't really count. It's a mini-sode. Or it's planning on being a mini-sode every month, but that's the whole the thing that I'm doing with Matt Gunday Monday, which is like a topical league talk show slash like not a balance between entertainment and educational thing, summer school thingy. And then I started contacting people for this Immortals podcast. So what am I doing? And this is the thing. I'm like trying a whole bunch of this, like, I have a lot of ideas and there's just not people doing them. And I want it to be out there. So I'm like, I'll just do it. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, that's just too much work. I'm like, or can I? Can I do it? Can I do it? So, whatever. Like, this is the thing. I need to have more failures than successes. And I know in the last vlog I talked about, like, setting myself up for failure and success. If I'm succeeding on everything I'm doing, I'm not trying hard enough. And I'm not taking enough risks. You know? Yeah, I don't know. Like, So the reason why I'm trying to start this Immortals podcast is because I want to get into the eSports scene, right? And therefore, I need to do eSports stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing that with Weldon, right? I think things will get easier with Weldon when it comes to time. The reason why I'm super busy with Weldon stuff is because I was trying to do the social media stuff. But I saw today on Twitter that he was asking if he's hiring like art people to do his stuff. So I think it's basically to make social stuff. I'm like, oh, I could do that maybe, you know? And maybe I could do a part of it. Not exactly sure, right? Maybe I should even like tell Weldon like, hey, I could do that, but like I'm doing all this stuff and I'm kind of like the reason why you make a goal, right, is to have a finish line, right? And right now, I'm having like 3-4 different goals that all like branch out from each other. They all go in their separate paths. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm like, maybe this is the way to go. Maybe this is the way to go. I don't know what the best way to do this is. And like one option is just pick one of those paths and just like go at it hard, right? And that could be like doing the Weldon Green podcast, nothing else, and just spending all my time producing that, right? The other thing that I was kind of starting to think about was like, I want to be a producer. I wanted to make a production company where I have all these different podcasts. So then I'm like, oh, so I got to start new podcasts. I'm like, oh, is that smart either? And then like maybe I should start all these podcasts and have a ton of flops because all I need is one to be like really successful. And I would say the Weldon Green podcast is pretty successful. Maybe that's the way to go. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know. I don't know what to do. And then there's also the idea like, okay, if these are all really truly good ideas that I have, it doesn't matter which one I pick. Because if really, let's say I'm right and these are all good ideas. So if I work on Lola only, then bam, like I have a success, whatever that means. If I work on this new Immortals podcast that I'm trying to put together, bam, I have something there too, like done. So it really doesn't matter. So in that case, then I just pick what I want to do, or flip a coin, for a roll of 4-sided dice, or just. But I do know that it's too much. But also at the same time, I'm like, oh, I was kind of expecting, like, the reason why I'm doing this much is because, like, not everything will work out, some things will fail. But I'm like, will they fail? I don't know if they'll fail. And then the thing that's keeping me from, like, just cutting the cord is because it's too early. I can't say something won't work without it not working. I have not proven that it doesn't work, right? That's a huge thing. You can't say something is a failure if you haven't actually failed, or before it actually has failed. Let me say that again. I cannot say something is a failure before it has actually failed. That's just it. So for this Immortals podcast, I posted on Twitter. I posted on the Immortals subreddit and asked just like, hey, is anyone interested in this stuff? And I figure I'm looking for like Immortals super fans, really. Like, I'm a fan of Immortals. I like them. I really like the direction that their CEO is going into. He was like the first, I believe, like really the first like league CEO to really put their face out there and like, oh, okay, Rick Fox did it, and then of course Reginald and Hotshot GG have been around forever, so that they have their own like exposure. But I really felt something different with Noah Winston, where he was like talking and addressing the public. And maybe I've just missed other guys that are doing that, but it makes me really want to root for Immortals, because I really felt like Immortals is doing something unselfish and strategic and smart and good for the industry. And I feel like I'm seeing that play out over the years that Immortals has been in league. Yeah, so I don't know what to do. I kind of felt like, oh, you know what, this is just like a huge sprint for like a month or two, and then after a month or two, like, oh, we drop a few projects, this thing doesn't work, thing doesn't work, and I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe it's like I sprint for like 6 months before I realize what works and doesn't work, so I don't know. And then I've been thinking like, oh, should I be like contacting esports organizations and making content for them? Like, that's this whole Immortals thing. I'm like, oh, I can do it. This is how I get into esports, right? This is how I start making a name. I got to start making content for people. And I was thinking like, maybe I should make content for like one episode, a podcast, and each episode covers a team. And then therefore I've made something useful to every single team in the LCS. And I could do that in NA, EU. Like, think about it. If I was an artist and I was wanting to get a job, like, and impress people, I would draw like every single player on every single team in NA, EU, China, LCK, and like put that out there, and then tweeted that out, and like posted it on my Pinterest and Tumblr and whatever. So I'm like, okay, if I'm a podcaster, like, I need to tell stories of every single player and every single team in the NA LCS, EU LCS, and maybe LPL, and like, yeah, I think I'm going crazy. I don't have enough time to do this. Like, I've told myself I'm like trying not to complain more, and I think I'm doing a good job. I've been trying to take out the phrase like I'm too busy for that. Oh, excuse me. I'm really trying to take that out of my vocabulary. But, like, I also think that if I just did Lola and the Weldon podcast, I really focused on the Weldon Green podcast, like bam, that'd be good. Yeah, because I already like time was scarce, and I'm making it even. I'm actually finding more time to work rather than using still the same amount of time that I have in a given week, and using that to do my thing. Like that's what it was. Like I was limited on time, so I have 10 hours a week, so I'm gonna do what I can to do 10 hours of stuff. But instead of being like, okay, now I've been doing this at an efficiency of 8 hours a week, now I can add a project that requires, like, add something to do 2 more hours, right? And instead, I'm like, oh, I have 10 hours a week. So now I made projects where it requires 20 hours a week or 15 hours a week. It's like, math isn't working. If this was money, oh, this would be so dangerous, right? If this was seriously money, it's like, I have $10. Spend $15. No, that's not how it works. So something's got to give. Don't know what it is. And at the same time, I don't want to skip. I don't want to be like, I'm just going to make a network of podcasts. No. I want to be on the podcast and making the podcasts. So what I really need to do, I think, is like make something good. Work on it hard. Like I think it would have been better if it's like I just sprinted and worked on the Weldon Green podcast for 6 months, putting 15 hours, 20 hours into just that. And then if it didn't work out, then it didn't work out, right? Or I should have been like, okay, if that didn't work out, time to try a new podcast. The Immortals podcast. Work on that. Grind it out. After 6 months, if it didn't work out, then it's okay, it didn't work out. Or it's like, oh no, it's really good. I gotta do it for like another 2 years. Or a year before it's like really, really good. Then ta-da. I think that was the way I'm supposed to go. But I've been dipping my toes into many different waters. Which has been fun and exciting. But I don't know, because what I want to do if I had 20 hours in a week, I would want to leave 5 of those hours or like 3 of those hours to like have open to do things, to experiment, or to like better my craft, where I could like sit down and read a book about podcasts, or like watch YouTube videos to teach me how to video edit, or like work on like small little like montages for my own stuff, or like even work on vlogs and editing those, like. But I've been feeling that I'm not making that time, and I am really in the red when it comes to time. I gotta figure that out, and I'm really stubborn. I'm not ready to give up anything. I'm really, really enjoying things. I'm really enjoying all these ideas and all these projects and working on them. It's just like I don't know what to do. One of the things is hire more editors. I have the finances now. I think I'm getting the finances to be able to get audio editors to work more on my stuff for me and to pay them for that. So that could be good. Yeah, that's a good point. So right now I have 3 audio editors for Lola and the Weldon Green podcast. So, and then also myself. But if I just do very rough edits and then send it off to them to do it, or even like have them do the first rough edit and then I change it, like that would work. But the problem is there's a lot of creative process in the edit as well. Yeah, I gotta really think these through, but yeah. I'm having fun, but this is crazy. This is so crazy. The scary thing is that work is like ramping up really hard, and I probably need to put in more hours at my real job. But I'm having. I mean, I'm home and it's only 5:20 instead of like 6:30. I don't know. Oh well.